Now you talked about fire brigade approach, which loads of Nigerians have also always faulted. Now we're talking about RCC, Julius Berger coming into this. From what we got from the Deputy Director of Works yesterday, looks like it's not a PPP arrangement given to the Julius Berger and RCC, even though he says, well, there's nothing about cost for that particular contract.
It sounded, I listen. This is what I do in the morning before I leave my house. I listen from the beginning to the end. You deployed, you sent in 2 key...
As a financial analyst, how possible is that? You give out a contract and you expect the person to move to site without any proper costing of that particular project.
It's not, you can tell. So let me tell you something. Let's put this in perspective. When you do a PPP, okay, that is a technical knowledge you need to have. These guys are engaging with people that know it and they don't know it. They need to study, put their acts together, need to understand what PPP is all about, the types. So when you engage in the private sector, you know what to do. Secondly, how will you terminate a contract? And you ask some people to go to the site and begin work. And they ask you, how much is it worth? And you say, you don't know. It's ongoing. And you are talking to Nigerians. I'm saying clearly that something is wrong.
Do you think the House of Reps should look into this?
Oh, this is
National Assembly.
By the way, I was watching the House of Reps interviewing the ministers and various government people on the 2013 budget. Have you seen it? You watched it? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. None of them, as they present, have done anything beyond 51%. I used to protect government and say this National Assembly people, they don't want government or Jonathan to work. But honestly, by listening to some of these things, I don't even see any reason for National Assembly to engage on the 2013 budget. You should tell those people to go back and finish the 2012 budget. When you have done with 100%, return back and let's discuss it.
Can they ever do 100%?
No.
As president,
do you know that when you do not perform on the budget, is a law, is an impeachable offense? No, do you understand that if you come to the National Assembly and the appropriate resources for a ministry, a department or agency of government, and you don't, for whatever reason, to even move it about, and you come and you don't use it, it's an offense. So the point I'm making here, why are you asking for 2013 when you have just done less than 50%?
Yeah, but how
from
do you
what
think,
you're seeing on television?
How do you think, because you have a lot of people who will be doing research on this project, you have people who are watching from international scene as to how they need to do, if they want to do business in the country. This is what people conclude, or part of the ingredients to when they eventually come up with that doing business in Nigeria.
Oh, yes.
Now, the first instance, this work contract is gone the way it is. They've asked Julius Berger to move in immediately. By the way, I don't know if you've seen, they should have started signing one or two things. Yet they don't know how much the contract is. But those who are watching, investors who are watching, saying, I want to go into this country and do business, and they see this, what kind of impression will they get? Being mindful of the fact that Julius Berger, another international company, is also there moving on. So is it a question of just understand the terrain, you have no problems, or what?
Let me explain. Let me chip this in, and then I'll answer your question. We have conducted international training programs on PPP for more than 30 times. I think I remember very clearly one of the big, large construction companies attended one of the programs. And you know what? On a one-on-one discussion with him, what he said we are trying to engage government on public-private partnership. And we are concerned about the prevarications and the lack of consistency. In fact, he's one of the people that have deployed. He is at the back office. Their job, he came in from Germany. The things we pay direct on open procurement are the things other countries work and partner with Julius Berger on PPP. That's one. Two, remember I started by saying that when you cancel a contract, you send a foul signal to intending investors. There are people that will first of all say, guys, slow down. Let's wait. Let's understand these folks, what they want to do. Thirdly, you do not allow yourself to be, I am quite aware that government is under pressure by the state governments of Ogun, Oyo, Lagos, and Ekiti on this Lagos-Ibadan expressway. I have no doubt in my mind that they will have mounted pressure. Listen, the test of leadership is what you do when you're under pressure. That's what I think. anytime you are under pressure, and what you do when you're under pressure is what determines the quality or your leadership quotient. Not what you do when everything is doing well. When we had the petrol crisis in January, I was watching and I was hoping that the president would be able to up his rating by the way he deals with it. And that's the way it is all over the world. The point I'm making here is that you do not act because you are under pressure. I was thinking that they would have said, okay, was there a bidding for this thing? Let's look at it. Let's renegotiate with these guys. Even if you want to cancel with Bi-Courtney, you should be able to understand. See, the monies that come into a country. By the way, the guy said that there is no working PPP in Nigeria. I think he's just talking. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
That's what the Minister of Works. So he has access to the books.
He doesn't know what he's talking about. The Lekki concession, Lekki expressway, is a living and working PPP project on ground, working.
Even though they had protests initially about it.
It will, but I will tell you about PPP when it has failed, where it has failed, and why it failed. Anytime you play PPP and there's no transparency, in South Africa it failed. They built toll gates. One morning everybody came, collapsed it, pulled it down.
Yeah, but in that case, remember, they were already tolling when they hadn't finished. And people said, no, you can't do this.
Are you not tolling in Lekki? And people are still paying and are still building. The point I'm making is that they did this and they never told the people that they were going to be told. Everything you do about PPP must be transparent. If not, you're going to keep getting this kind of cancellations. People who want to do it will always throw the spanners in the works. They will always ask the questions, who bidded with Bi-Courtney?
Okay.
And that's where people need to be careful to get themselves locked into this kind of projects. Because 2, 3, 5, 10 years down the line, something will throw up. A pharaoh that does not know Joseph will arise. Okay. And then you will begin to judge the situation all over again. So if you invested money, you're going to lose it. But if they have done this properly, Bi-Courtney will go to court and they will win. But because it was a transaction, I can guarantee you, a transaction that was on W11 FM with FM. What is in there for me? You know, you will see them resolve this thing with some kind of is a family matter. Because he that goes to equity must come with clean hands.
Let's flip the coin a little bit here. The deputy director yesterday was saying that they've had meetings severally with Bi-Courtney. But is it possible, or based on what has happened now, the Bi-Courtney, according to them, did not do anything, did not mobilize. What does that say about other contractors? Is it possible that the other people that bidded with Bi-Courtney were also Nigerian indigenous companies? And so the ministry felt that we can't go back the same way because it's very likely the same thing will happen. So what does that say of Nigerian companies?
I started telling you about technical competence. For you to come and say you want to do a PPP, there is one major thing that must come out. It's not a man and his dog that comes to say, you see, you're calling Babalaki. You shouldn't be calling Babalaki. That's the problem. You set up what they call a special purpose vehicle, faceless. Inside that SPV, you will have the contractor, the man that will till the ground and put the roads. You will have the financiers, the bank that will give the money, and then you will have a major ingredient, which is the revenue streams, which is a financial model. Read my list, the financial model. Most of the people who enter into PPP don't make their money until about the last 5 to 8 years. You'll be paying back the loan. So you need to, when you do PPP, the big boys come in. When you say you want to do a road, the Julius Bergers should come in, the ROCCs should come in. The big boys, that's what the people in Ministry of Finance, so the Ministry of Works, will be asking, who are those making up your SPV? So that if you put in, say, a Julius Berger in quotes, and when you won the contract and you now go and bring Eta and Jeff Chamberlain